Hey guys! Sorry I haven't been on here in so long, but I've just been getting used to quarantine and not doing anything but studying. So in the beginning of this vlog, you'll see my online induction ceremony for PLS. It was on Zoom, so that was quite an experience. Something that we probably would have never seen coming, but something that we can definitely tell our kids about. I hope you all are staying safe. In the end of my vlog though, I will do my Q&A that I asked all you guys questions on my Instagram. So stay tuned.
Kaitlyn, are you with us?
Yes, hi.
Hi. Kaitlyn Latham is a PharmD candidate from the class of 2021. She's incredibly thankful for the opportunities that Neomed has provided to her throughout the 3 years that she has been here. Kaitlyn feels she's indebted to her support system at home and here at Neomed. When Kaitlyn was a second-year pharmacy student, she accepted the roles of secretary for the National Community Pharmacists Association, fundraising chair for the American Pharmacists Association, and social media chair for the Walking Whales Cooking Club. These roles have taught her how to successfully run a student organization. She now serves as president for the National Community Pharmacists Association. She has volunteered for many of the Pathways to Pharmacy events with high schoolers because she enjoys serving as a mentor for those interested in pharmacy. Kaitlyn is very excited to expand her leadership skills and grateful to be inducted into Phi Lambda Sigma Leadership Society. Congratulations, Kaitlyn.
To start, I asked you guys a question on Instagram to ask me questions and I'll answer them in this video, so I'll just go over some of those, and I added some too because I deleted a couple, so let's see, maybe I hit those. So my first question was, what did my journey look like on the way to pharmacy school? So I went to a private college. I only did 3 years there. I actually started in nursing and kind of realized that I didn't really want to do that. I'm okay with giving shots intramuscularly and subcutaneously, but I know that I can't deal with veins, so that was definitely something that contributed to me going to pharmacy school. I kind of had always wanted to go to pharmacy school, so I already had that in mind, but then I kind of had a change in heart when I was going to college, and yeah, after finding out I didn't really want to be a nurse, I did biology pre-pharmacy, and checked in with a lot of the pharmacy schools that are in Ohio, which is where I'm at, and most of them only required prerequisites. They didn't require a whole biology degree, so I went off of that and just got my prerequisites, and yeah, didn't graduate. I was supposed to graduate in 2018, and instead I went to pharmacy school, so that's pretty much that. Another question was, what types of volunteering did I do before pharmacy school? So I was in the pre-healthcare club only for like a year though, so I wasn't very into volunteering. I actually had a pharmacy technician job, and that's what took up most of my time when I wasn't studying. So I would do that, and I worked probably about 20, 30, sometimes even 40 hours a week, depending on the week. It was very hard to balance school and that. I was also a cheerleader for 2 years, so that was pretty cool. Just a fun little extracurricular. But I definitely recommend getting into volunteering before pharmacy school because they definitely do look at that. But I was lucky enough to have a technician job, so I think that gave me a couple points on my application. What has been my favorite part of pharmacy school so far? So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I met my boyfriend in pharmacy school, so I guess that has to be one of my favorite parts. But I guess that's like non-school related. So school related, I would have to say like IPI rotations, because honestly it's so nice to go to different pharmacies and just see how things work. Especially like I come from a community pharmacy background. When you go to other pharmacies, especially like even in community, some of them are so different and it's very interesting. I guess another thing would definitely be meeting my friends too, because they're definitely the best and they've helped me through so much through pharmacy school. So why did I choose pharmacy? Not gonna lie, my mom actually told me to be a pharmacist in 3rd grade. And I kind of just always said that's what I wanted to do. I didn't know what they did. So I started shadowing in high school. I shadowed an independent pharmacy that was in Akron, which is a city close to me, and I fell in love with it. So I had never actually heard of PA school, so I didn't even think about PA school. And med school, I just knew like I did not want to be a physician. So that definitely was not a choice. That was definitely not a choice for me. And yeah, nursing, like I definitely kind of just didn't want to do the vein thing. Everything else was okay. I am not very good with putting things into veins. When I get an IV, I am not okay. So like I know that if I gave it to someone else, I wouldn't feel good about it. So another one was, what was my hardest adjustment from in class to online, since now that everything's online with the quarantine, the coronavirus? Probably just the way that I'm studying. Like I feel like right now I'm not completely learning everything, and it's probably just because we're at home and getting distracted and everything. It's so hard to stay on topic. I can definitely say that doing online pharmacy school is not fun at all. I definitely get too distracted with TikTok and YouTube, and just my studying habits are thrown out the window. I make study guides and I just go over them, and sometimes it just isn't enough. And also my boyfriend, we study together, so now that we haven't really seen each other since school's out, I haven't been studying the way that we used to, and he helps me stay motivated too, to be totally honest. I get too distracted with YouTube for sure. That is like my main thing. Whenever David Dobrik posts, Cody Ko, who else? So many other people. But yeah, so I think I'm also struggling with my motivation right now. Thank God we only have like 2 more exams and then I'm completely done with testing during pharmacy school, so it's always a good thing. So and then I had another question too. So any other classmates who weren't chemistry majors? So I know a lot of people did biology, and I think pretty much you can pick whatever you want. I haven't met any English majors, but maybe that's just like, I've heard that you could probably do an English major as long as you get the biology prerequisites. So as long as you get those, you're in good standing. Obviously it depends on what school it is, but if it's something non-science related like that, I guess that would be something you can look forward to. I know a lot of people who are biochem majors. A lot of people have their PhD. And there's never an age limit in pharmacy. I have people in my class that are parents. They're 40, 50, I don't even know how old, but they're older than me. So it definitely just depends on where you are in life. So what am I interested in? I don't really want to do a residency, so I'm like one of the few people who want to go into community. I absolutely love community. I love my job. There are some hard parts, but it's definitely worth it in the end. I definitely love it. I have a passion for it, and one day I would like to open up my own pharmacy. I know that's very, very hard, but hopefully one day. If not, I'll hopefully be at Rite Aid forever, because honestly, I love Rite Aid. So yeah. Any research? So I've never done any research, but I have heard that it's very good for residency. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely do it. And once you get into pharmacy school and you have relationships with your professors, it definitely is a lot easier to get on a project with them. So I've heard. I've never actually done it, but if you ask them, they'll definitely be open to it if they don't have someone else. So just do it. Ask them. Even if you don't want to go into a residency, definitely ask them still if anything is interesting to you. How do I manage my time with interning and going to school? So this still I was learning. I studied a lot, but I would work on the weekends for the most part, and sometimes this was even rough. I mean, there are people in my class who don't have jobs, so it's definitely okay not to have a job, but if you do, you want to make sure that you have that time management. And if you think that you're working too much, tell them, because they'll understand. School comes first, and honestly, you won't have a job at the end of this if you don't get through it. So, or a job as a pharmacist, I guess I should say. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I was also, like, when I was in clubs and stuff, sometimes that was a little hard too, especially with working on the weekends. And so, like, I would work like 8-hour shifts a day and then come home, and then I'm just kind of tired. So you just have to learn how, when you have to study, like especially if you have a quiz or exam on a Monday, you just have to make sure either get off or you need to study at night, or get all your studying done before, and then just have reviews for Saturdays and Sundays. So what organizations have I been a part of? So my first year I was part of APHA, and my second year, and then the Walking Wells Cooking Club. My two friends actually made that club, and that was pretty cool because I don't know how to cook. So we had one of the managers of our, it's called the bistro, so like the managers of the cafe, he taught us how to cook certain things, like stuff for Thanksgiving. It was so cool. And I've been a part of NCPA, which is the National Community Pharmacists Association. I've held e-board roles in all of these. So yeah, sometimes it was kind of hard, depending on what role it was. Some of them are really easy, like social media chair, or secretary is even easy. But this year as the president of NCPA, and it was kind of hard. It was kind of hard to time manage and make sure that I made meetings on days that people didn't have exams, so more people would come. And sometimes it was hard to make sure that we went to get funding. So it's just hard, but it looks good on your CV. And definitely do it if you really want to do it. Like, I volunteered through so many things in this. Oh, and I'm also part of PLS. So in the beginning of this vlog, you'll also see my PLS induction. And how did I choose my pharmacy school? So I I applied to, I think, 5 schools. One was Neomed, and then University of Cincinnati, and Cedarville University, I think LECOM, and then Marshall. I think it was Marshall. So I got interviews to 4 of them. LECOM, I actually sent my application late. But that was because I had already gotten interviews at 4 of the schools, so I just didn't even really care, to be honest. And I looked at all of the NAPLEX passing rates, and honestly, Neomed stuck out to me. First of all, I've always wanted to go to Neomed. In high school, actually, they had a program for high school students to learn about pharmacy, and I attended that, and I just have always loved Neomed. It was my first choice, my dream school since I was in high school, so I knew I wanted to go there, but I put the other schools just in case I didn't get in. And all of them are pretty much in Ohio or close to Ohio, so that's where I kind of did that. And we have other like Ohio pharmacy schools like Findlay and Toledo, but those are like 0+6 schools. So is Cedarville. Cedarville 0+7, but I didn't really want to apply to those because I'd be like transferring in. So I just applied to the ones that I knew would take like my prerequisites, and I applied late. That's another note to, I applied very late, like probably like the last day, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to graduate or not. Like I didn't know if a bachelor's would even really matter or what. So I went to the interviews. I really actually love Cincinnati, and I love Cedarville too. I think it was just the location for me, to be honest, for both of them. Cedarville's not in a bad area at all, but Cincinnati is kind of, I'm used to rural. I know I didn't say that right, but I'm used to like farmland, and yeah, Cincinnati is definitely not that. So I wanted to go to Neomed. Neomed's kind of in the middle of the nowhere. It's getting there, but it's right next to Kent and Akron, so at least there's like 2 bigger cities next to it. But yeah, I definitely looked at like NAPLEX passing rates to make sure that they were kind of at the top, and then ranked it that way. I had a lot of pros for Neomed though, and I got into 3 of them. Like I said, I didn't go to the interview at Marshall, but so I basically chose between Cincinnati and Neomed. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I honestly wouldn't, like, I would choose Neomed all over again. I really love Neomed. And then biggest advice to PreFarm students applying. So I'd say my biggest advice would be to never give up, no matter what your advisor says. I know my advisors multiple times in undergrad told me just to not go, not even try. Maybe I need to get my GPA up. But I didn't listen to them, and obviously here I am, finishing up my 3rd year of pharmacy school and going on to Happy's. So I don't know, just don't, I mean, if you really are struggling, think about it. Think about the pros and the cons. I know for me personally, I went to Neomed a lot of times. I visited them. I talked with the admissions counselors, and like they really guided me to help me get to where I am. And honestly, I probably got an interview because of that. I don't really know. I don't know the reason, but I would definitely do that as well. Definitely visit the pharmacy school that you really want to go to, or all of them, whatever you want to do. And just tell them that this is what I want to do, how can I get here? And stay in touch with them. I think I went my sophomore year of undergrad, and it was the same admissions advisor that I talked to so many years, and I would just email him and be like, hey, like, how's it going? And I'd send him my grades, see if like anything that I need to get up. And yeah, I just really tried to make sure I got my name in there, and hopefully it stuck. And then, so for PCAT material, I used the Kaplan book that we got. Actually, my school, Neomed, they do not require the PCAT anymore, and I don't know if that's how other schools are doing it. I know not a lot of schools are, but if they're not, I would definitely ask them what else they're looking for. Most schools look at you holistically, so they'll look at your grades, they'll look at how you speak with them, if you're personable. Some of them have like tests, so like I know our interview at Neomed, we had a test, and I know at Cincinnati they had an MMI interview, so definitely look at that too, because most of them, like I said, they'll look at you holistically, so if you do good on that, then you're probably okay. Especially if you have the grades, you're probably in good standing. I also used captest.org, and I didn't use crackpcat.com, but I've heard very good reviews on it. I'll leave links in the description below, so if you're interested in looking at any of those, definitely look at it. For the PCAT, I probably only studied for maybe 2 months. It was in the middle, like I was taking OChem and physics, and I think like biology or something. Like, it was so weird. I was taking so many science classes, so I figured that I was okay. I really only brushed up on like anatomy and I think pre-calc. Okay, and then interview advice. So for all you pre-pharmacy students that are interested in applying, obviously it's through, like, you have to do everything through PharmCast. And then when you get your interview, which that's awesome, that's such an accomplishment in itself, just getting the interview, you want to make sure that you kind of have everything studied up on. So like, study up on the school, study up on like what their NAPLEX rates are, because that's really, really good conversation points. Like, I know I looked up a bunch of things about Neomed, I looked up a bunch of things about Cincinnati, just so when I went there I could be like, oh, and I know that this part of your guys' facility is great, like, I don't know, like something weird like that, or like, I know your NAPLEX pass rates are good, that's why I really want to come here. And definitely, so this is what I did whenever I went into my interview and then went home. I had the names of the people who interviewed me, and I emailed them just a quick thank you email, just saying, hey, thank you for your time. Obviously make it more professional, but I was just like, thank you for your time. I really enjoyed talking about your roles as an oncology pharmacist, or something like that. Just whatever pertains to the conversation you had with them. It makes it more individual to them, and I think they'll definitely enjoy that. And I even reached out, I remember I reached out to the University of Cincinnati's dean, the pharmacy dean, and just said thank you for taking the time to speak with all of us today. It goes a long way. I don't know if many people tell you to do that, but it definitely makes, I feel like it makes a lasting impact, because after I did that, I got accepted literally, I think I had my interview on a Friday, and then I got accepted that Monday. So I honestly think it definitely put your name in their head and they're like, oh, this girl was great. Like, maybe her grades aren't that good, but she's very personable and she appreciates us even giving her a look. And I don't know. But yeah, for interviews, definitely act yourself. Try to be professional, but you gotta make sure that you have a personality too. I know sometimes you can look up like possible questions in pharmacy interviews, so definitely try that too, and go through the prompts and just kind of answer them how you would answer them so that you're more prepared. I know that Neomed, they do like a separate test, and I think it's like based on personality, so they'll be like, oh, it looks like you may not have good time management, tell me what you've done to fix that, and like stuff like that. So it's totally up to like how the interview goes, and what they require for the interview. But I think that's all I have. But yeah, honestly, if you guys have any questions, definitely just comment them below. You can follow me on Instagram and you can message me. It's at misspharmdtobe, so the same name as my YouTube name. And yeah, that's all I have. So I hope you guys enjoy. Stay safe during this quarantine and don't hang out with anybody. But if you like this video, there's more to come, so like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys later.
Missing someone. Missing someone. Missing someone. Love with all your heart. Missing someone. Love with heart. How much you miss it. And you miss it. And you miss it. And you miss it. And you did it right from the start. And you did it right from the start. Missing someone is as normal. Missing someone and missing someone is as normal. Missing someone.